Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my most favorite movies, and in kind of a different way. So as you may know from watching the channel, one of my very favorite movies is the movie Jaws from 1975, directed by Steven Spielberg, with Robert Shaw, Roy Scheider, and Richard Dreyfuss, among many others. And there's the back of that one. This is the 4K release of it. You probably know also from the channel that I have many copies of this, including a Laserdisc copy. I'm such a big fan of Jaws, and I thought this year is the 50th anniversary of the release of the book Jaws. Here's the book Jaws. And I thought I would give this another read. I'm sure I read it back many years ago, but it's been a while since I've read it. I didn't really remember too much of it. Of course, I know the plot, but I've seen the movie Jaws over 50 times, and I thought I would give this another read. And I really enjoyed this reading the book. I really enjoyed it, but it is much different than the movie. If you haven't seen the movie Jaws or you haven't read the book Jaws, I am going to spoil it because I'm going to be talking about plot points in the book and the movie. So if you haven't seen Jaws, you might want to watch the movie or read the book and come back to this video later. But hopefully you've seen it. Again, this is 50 years old this year, and the movie Jaws will be 50 years old next year in 2025. And I talked about it on the channel before. One of the reasons why Jaws is my favorite movie is because it's the first movie that I can remember that I saw with my family multiple times in the summer of 1975 when it came out in the movie theater. I was really surprised, though, in reading this book that it was much different than the movie. Lots of different aspects to it, and I'm going to talk about a few of those, and hopefully if you've read the book, maybe you can share in the comments too some differences that you've seen, or maybe another book that you like where the movie was much different than the book is, or maybe you have a favorite film adaptation of a book that you can share in the comments below. But this is again much different. This is a 5x8 release of this book. There's of course a popular paperback here too, but I love the 5x8s. This one also has some extra features in the back, or extra parts to the back. It has an excerpt from Peter Benchley's book Shark Trouble in the back of the book. It's got a Benchley letter to David Brown, one of the co-producers of Jaws, about his issues with the screenplay. It also has, I found this really interesting too, this title idea brainstorm list, which has many titles that they were thinking of for Jaws. So that's very interesting. The book itself, again, I found to be very different. The characters are much rougher than I think from the movie. Chief Brody, to me, played by Roy Scheider, is a much more friendly character in the movie than he is in the book, I believe anyway. And there are many details that are much different. And I'm just going to describe a few of them. There is a scene in the movie where Matt Hooper and Chief Brody go out on a boat to find Ben Gardner's boat, and here, so there's a whole scene where that happens, and here they just see essentially the boat from the shore and do some evaluation of what's happening. But there's many differences like that too. When they first engage with Quint, to get his advice, his chief goal is to get as much money as he can to go out and search for the shark. One of the things I found interesting is that he always wanted to go back into shore, go back to the dock every day when they're looking for the shark, which is something different. Obviously, once they're out on the water in the movie, they stay out there for the duration of the movie. The other thing I found really interesting is that there's a lot of the book covers the affair between Ellen Brody and Matt Hooper, which again I found really interesting. I thought it would only be a couple of chapters, and again, it's been a while since I've read the book, so I wasn't really sure, but it really covers a lot of the book, this issue between Chief Brody and Ellen Brody, and really the disintegration of their marriage in some ways. There's lots of discussion about that, and so a lot of the book covers the affair with Matt Hooper, which again doesn't really happen in the movie. There's some scenes with Ellen Brody and Matt Hooper, but it doesn't happen to the extent that it happens in the book. And I thought it even happens to the point where I felt like Matt Hooper was really a metaphor for the shark, or the shark was a metaphor for Matt Hooper, or they're metaphors for each other in some way. Because Matt Hooper was certainly there to, in some ways, destroy the marriage between Ellen Brody and Chief Brody, or at least have them reevaluate how they're relating and communicating with each other. So very interesting that all that takes up a lot of the book. I mean, the book is divided into 3 parts, and I would say most of part 2 has to do with that particular affair and the relationship between Chief Brody and his wife. I think the book is well written. It was a really fast read for me. I probably read it in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and for me that's pretty fast. There's also a lot of the book has to do with the dilemma that Chief Brody is in, trying to protect the people of Amity, and how he deals with newspaper, how he deals with the newspaper reporters, as well as the mayor, who's involved in a bit of a political scandal concerning real estate. So there's a lot of the book is focused on that, where the movie really doesn't cover that at all. So again, I really enjoyed this. I'm planning to talk a little bit more about books on the channel too, books being physical media also. So let me know if you're interested in hearing me talk a little bit more about books on the channel and what I'm reading. I'm tracking all of what I'm reading on a website called Storygraph, which allows me to look at all the stats and how fast I'm reading and things like that. Let me know in the comments also if you have a favorite book that was turned into a movie that maybe you were disappointed with, or there were a lot of differences. I'm also, as summer approaches, interested in maybe a few recommendations for summer reading, much like Jaws, because I think Jaws is obviously a great summer read, as long as you're okay not going to the water as much, perhaps, or going to the ocean as much. I know when I first saw the movie Jaws, I was reluctant again to go into the ocean. I probably still am, even from reading that, but it's okay. I'm happy going to the beach still. So anyway, this is kind of a new video for the channel, talking more about books as well as movies. So let me know again if you're interested in that. If you like this video, please click on like, and if this is your first video on the channel, please consider subscribing. That would be awesome. Much more to come in 2024 on the channel. I sincerely hope that everyone is safe and well, and I'll talk to you soon.